Dr. C. Amitaselvi, Assistant Professor and Head, Department of Business Administration, UG, VV Vanniyaperumal College for Women, Virudhunagar. In this video, I am going to share the points regarding working capital, concept of working capital, types of working capital, factors influencing working capital, and the procedure for estimating the working capital requirements. First, we should know what is a working capital. It is a lifeblood of a business. Every business requires working capital. These are the funds for purchasing raw materials required and payment of wages and other day-to-day expenses like rent, salary, etc. The working capital is also known as circulating capital or short-term capital. Since the working capital is required for a short period, it is known as short-term capital. Next comes concept of working capital. Excess of current assets over current liabilities. Here we have to understand the two terms current assets and current liabilities. First one is the current assets. Current assets are those assets which can be sold or which can be liquidated within a year. That is called current asset. Example, stock, sundry debtors, prepaid expenses. Then current liabilities. The liabilities which can be paid within a year is known as current liability. Example of current liability is sundry creditors, bills payable. Here the concept is divided into two categories: gross working capital and net working capital. Gross working capital means the fund or the amount invested in current assets. Then the net working capital is the current assets minus current liabilities. Next one is the types of working capital. The working capital is broadly classified into two types: temporary working capital and permanent working capital. Permanent working capital is also known as fixed working capital. It is the minimum amount of current assets required for running the business. Then second one is the temporary working capital. It is also known as variable working capital. It is the amount of additional current assets required for the business. Working capital management. Managing the current assets, current liabilities and the interrelationship between them. Working capital management is the integral part of corporate management. Objectives of working capital management. There are two basic objectives: profitability and liquidity. Profitability ensures satisfactory return on investment. Liquidity ensures satisfactory financial obligations. A balanced working capital gives higher profitability and at the same time proper liquidity. Next we are going to see about the factors influencing working capital. First one, nature of business. The business may be service oriented business or a manufacturing business. In service oriented business, limited working capital is required. Their initial investment is high and the working capital is low. Example of service oriented industry are Tamil Nadu Electricity Board and Water Supply Board. These are the service oriented institutions. Then manufacturing industries, sugar industry, oil industry, soap industry, etc. are the manufacturing industries. They require more working capital for their day-to-day operations. Then credit policies. Company allowing credit to their customers get more working capital. They are in need of more working capital for allowing credit to their customers. Company enjoying credit, getting credit, needs only the lower amount of working capital. Next, manufacturing process. Conversion of raw material into finished product. When the manufacturing process is very lengthy and very longer, then higher the amount of working capital is needed. Shorter the process, lesser working capital is needed. Change in technology. The industry may be labor intensive industry or automation industry. When the firm is labor intensive, more working capital is needed for paying the wages to the workers. Automation industry, they require less working capital, but their initial investment is very high. Rapidity of turnover. When there is high rate of turnover, low amount of working capital is required. When there is lower and slow moving turnover, larger working capital is needed. Business cycle. Prosperous business. When the business in a prosperous condition or boom condition, then huge amount of working capital is needed. And during depression also, depression means the business becomes very dull. In that case also, huge amount of working capital is needed. Seasonal variation. Some business get affected due to seasonal variation or seasonal fluctuations. Manufacturing and selling goods seasonally, large amount of working capital is needed. Fluctuation of supply. Uninterrupted production oriented industries require large working capital. Then dividend policy. Dividend is the divisible profit distributed to the shareholders. When there is conservative dividend policy, then the working capital can be met with retained earnings. Next one, procedure for forecasting the working capital requirements. Here, the estimation of various components of current assets and current liabilities are done. Total quantity of units to be produced in a year, credit allowed to debtors, credit allowed by creditors, lag in payment of wages and overheads. Overheads means all indirect charges, that is indirect material, indirect wages and indirect expenses put together called overheads. Total cost incurred on materials, wages and overheads. Length of time for which raw materials kept in stores. Length of the period during which finished product kept in warehouse. Then adequate working capital. It means neither excessive nor inadequate working capital. If the working capital is inadequate, it will result in interruption of production. The production will get affected when there is inadequate working capital. If there is excessive working capital, it will also result in idle funds which earns no profit. Hence, every business firm should maintain adequate working capital. Thank you.